Hey friends, welcome back to OJ Universe. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me as we take a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Armour Suit Batman. Man, this figure, oh my goodness, there's a lot to talk about and unpackage with this figure. We're going to deep dive into that figure. But first, let's take a look at the packaging and what is included with the Armour Suit Batman. You got a really awesome piece of photography here of Ben Affleck in the Bat Armor suit, eyes glowing. It looks just phenomenal. On the side here, you do have the gold spine with Batman Armor Suit, Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, the really cool Superman and Batman logo. And on the inside, you are given very little amount of accessories. You got the figure here, taking up a lot of space. And then you have an open hand and a fisted hand. And one other aspect about this entire Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice lineup has been these new card inserts. I absolutely love this new backdrop that we're getting for this special line of figures. You got almost like this watercolor graffiti kind of style of Batman and Superman logos, the Batman and Superman. You got a display stand. You got the trading card of the artwork on the back. So that's it. That's all you're getting with this figure. Now, as you can see, you have Batman here holding that kryptonite spear that he used to combat Superman. And yeah, he doesn't include that. That's in the Superman Doomsday 2-pack. But I thought it'd be appropriate to have the figure with this spear because that's an accessory that it should have come with. Now, if you're very fortunate and lucky enough to find the Platinum Chase version of this, this spear is included. Plus, Batman has kind of this weird green glowing effect going on, which did not look very good when I saw it in person. I probably should have bought it. I could have just repainted it, but oh my god, it didn't look good at all. Kind of a regret because I know I could repaint it and make it look better and to my liking. And after opening this figure, it's a big kick in my butt for not getting it because this figure is absolutely outstanding. So let's take this this staff here out of Batman's hand since he doesn't come with it, but we'll take a look at it and let me see. We'll take a look at and talk about that later on. But overall, this figure, let's take a look at it. Let's just enjoy the view here. We got the cloth wired cape blowing all over the place, and it's all frayed on the side. I love that aspect. This isn't like a really refined bat cape that's being used for shielding or protection. He's got all the armor. This is like, I'm Batman, I'm wearing a cape, it's tattered, it's beat up. I'm okay with that. It just adds to the fierce presence of this figure. And of course, with that super strong wire running through the cape edge here, you can hold any position. And I think this is one of the most unique but best looking simplistic bat capes that we've gotten from McFarlane Toys. And there have been some outstanding capes, some absolutely crap capes, but this one, it's absolutely so perfectly fit and tailored for this figure. It works so well. Now let's take a closer look at all of the sculpted details in this figure. All the scratches, the bangs, the dents, the cracks, the rivets, the crevices. It's absolutely spectacular. It's very funny. When my wife first saw this figure and I was kind of playing around with it, taking out of the package, she's like, oh, I thought you painted that figure. And I'm like, no, this is the way it came. She's like, wow, that's really impressive. It looks like one of your customs because the silver is so nice and bright. It looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, well, thank you. But this is the artistry that McFarlane Toys is capable of producing. I know a lot of people love to hate on McFarlane Toys, make these videos how it sucks, how they're the worst toy company, a bunch of greedy, money-hoarding trolls and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, holy crap, guys, take a breath and just articulate your thoughts better before you go on these rampant rampages about how they are the worst thing in the universe. Just check yourself, guys. Like, it's getting a little out of hand, and it's pretty discouraging to see stuff like that, this hate rhetoric going on for toys that are probably the best value out there right now compared to a lot of other toy manufacturers. Like, come on, guys, let's just pump the brakes and let's just kind of engage in the holiday spirit. If you got something negative to say, that is totally fine, and you're justified to have it. But just the way the hate rhetoric goes on, it's kind of ridiculous. And it's like, come on, guys. Anyway, sorry. Let's get back to this review and the positives and the negatives about this figure. Now, the positives, of course, the sculpt. It is probably the best, I'd say, next to Cyborg Superman for sculpted details for a $25 action figure. Now, I was worried about some of the articulation on this figure, and we'll deep dive into the articulation, but let me kind of give you a preview. The articulation is solid on this figure. For being such a hefty figure too, it has such a good heft to it, no hollowness whatsoever, and that's some of the great aspects about this figure. The cape, the stylization, the presentation that you're getting here, the paintwork, the colors, the sculpting. It's incredibly good. This is what I'm going to say artists at McFarlane Toys are capable of doing. You have a $25 figure, you probably have a pretty small budget. That's why you're not getting a ton of accessories, because all of the kind of production costs went into tooling this amazing looking figure and all the details and everything else. It's like when you get a Marvel Legend and you kind of get a set of like 7 or 8 figures sometimes, and you can tell there's one figure that they kind of put all the production costs into and made it absolutely incredible. Brand new sculpt, accessories, details, all that kind of stuff. And then you get like 3 or 4 figures that are just retools of some existing figures, of body bucks with painted on decos and stuff like that, and that happens. But when they hit their stride, a lot of toy companies, they can produce some amazing figures. And this is hands down one of the best McFarlane has produced. So, okay, enough gushing. Let's talk about the articulation on this figure. Does it live up to what we're used to? So the head can look up. You can get some pretty good range of motion there. Looking down, not too much. You got a bit of side attitude going on. Appreciate that. Now you do have these pliable soft shoulder pads, which get out of the way for the articulation. You do have a spacer joint in there. You get a bicep cut. Actually, you don't have a bicep cut. You do have single jointed elbows, and you have the rotation going on. So it's a limited articulation, but you still get a pretty good range of motion. You can still get a lot of action poses with this as well. One thing I'd really like to note is those hands. Man, those hands just look like heavy metal gloves. They will hurt when they get punched in the face. They are sculpted so well and painted well as well. That's a lot of as well. Sorry. There's a lot of definition and detail into this glove. It looks spectacular. There we go. And then of course you have the ball joint in there for the torso articulation. You can go back, forward. You have a ball joint at the waist, ball joints at the hips. You have double jointed ratcheted knees, and look at that. It's just hidden so well with this sculpted knee pad. You do have ball joints at the ankles, toe articulation. One thing I got to show you guys, look at those spikes. Imagine getting kicked in the face with this boot. Yikes, that would definitely hurt. But it looks fantastic. And of course, you just got all the articulation that you'd want with this figure. And the fact that he's a bigger, heftier, chunkier figure, the articulation is so there. And of course, with this cape, you get all this extra movement and fabric, and it's just a spectacularly well done cape. So I'm gushing about this figure because it is absolutely outstanding. The lack of accessories does hurt it. It definitely hurts it. I would have been happy to pay, you know, almost a premium deluxe price if we had glowing eyes, have some sort of bite for electronics. We've got glowing eyes. That would have been fantastic. We have seen those kind of light up features in the Hazmat Suit Batman. There's a Platinum Chase that had the light up feature. I would love to have seen a light up feature in that helmet. I also would have been really happy to have an unmasked head sculpt of Ben Affleck. I think that would have been just cool. Or even a mask where, you know, a head that could take the mask off, have the Ben Affleck, he could hold the helmet in his hand or something like that. That would have been so cool. And of course, that grenade launcher of the kryptonite dust, that would have been amazing as well. But most of that stuff is encompassed in a Amazon exclusive here in Canada 2-pack that has a nightmare version of Batman and this guy. And it has the battle damage head, so you can see partial visage of Ben Affleck's head. You also have Nightmare Batman with a brand new head sculpt. And you have a plethora of accessories, a battle display stand. It's a very, very nicely done 2-pack that I'm going to definitely get when it goes back into stock. And Amazon is sold out right now. But if they would have just added this head and the Nightmare Batman's regular head into that 2-pack, you would have had no need for this figure or the Nightmare Batman single release. So And like I said, I've seen a lot of reviews and a lot of just hate going to the fact that McFarlane's double dipping, doing all this stuff. And I'm not going to defend them in the sense, yeah, well, they shouldn't do that, but they are a toy company. People are going to buy this stuff. If you can't get that 2-pack, at least you have the options to get these guys. And if you don't want both figures, you can get one or the other, or both, or all. It's up to you to decide this. So that's how I feel about that. The fact that people are saying they're money grubbing, every company these days needs to make money. The way the economy is, I don't want to see any toy company go out of business, close the doors. It's not good when we see that. But they're giving you options. And the fact that they're giving you options to buy the 2-pack, or if you want to buy each of these individually or everything, that's up to you to decide with your wallet. So there you go. Enough said about that. Back to the figure. I'm very happy the way it looks. Lack of accessories set aside, it's still one of the most phenomenal figures, and I think people will really want to gravitate and grab this figure. Now, I wasn't too keen on this entire wave of Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice figures because I was just like, the Justice League figures kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. They weren't the best figures, but that was years ago when they were first released. They really did a great job on Wonder Woman. Nightmare Batman is fantastic when you give him some armaments, because without that, it's a little bit disappointing. But same with this guy, in a bit of that sense where, where's the extra accessories on this guy? But being a collector, you do have lots of extra accessories you can give, and if you bought that 2-pack of Superman Doomsday, you got the spear. Or if you found the Platinum Chase, you got the spear as well. So, given that all aside, this is still a phenomenal figure. And I want to see some comparisons with some other figures that, how they would suit up with this version of Batman. And I'll continue with kind of like the Snyderverse. We got Flash here. And man, he just dwarfs this figure. This Flash is kind of a smaller, less muscular body buck. It's a unique one-off, but it's very nice. I really enjoyed this one. I think this was the first figure I reviewed on the channel back in like June of 2023, I think. So it's been a while, but it's still a great figure, and I very much enjoy it. And he's part of this, you know, the Snyderverse, so to speak, universe. But man, they look great together. You're building up your Justice League, so to speak. And then I want to bring in this guy. So we're continuing on with some Flash characters. I kind of think this would have been a really cool movie version if they decided to put Reverse Flash into the Snyderverse, so to speak. It's from the Injustice 2 figure lineup, and it's an older figure for sure, but man, it still has a lot of cool presence to it. The sculpt is great. The face, man, let's get a close-up on that face. That is just a cool face. Man, it's just great. Only thing I don't like, yeah, they didn't finish the paints on the back. I wish they would have. That's maybe a project for me to work on in the new year. But yeah, I just love this Reverse Flash. Could have been a movie figure. You never know. And then, of course, let's bring in some other figures here. I think this one, this is another figure I absolutely love. Of course, this is my Cyborg Superman with the bit of a repaint we had to do to get this figure to where I liked it. Do a bit of toy surgery on him. I have a really kind of interesting shorts about that on the DC Multiverse playlist. You can check that out. But man, this is like, I could see if Cyber Superman was ever in the film universe, so to speak, or even this guy can cross the line and shred the line between the comic verse and the movie verse. I would love to see these two, because Batman would need some heavy tech armor to fight this monster of a Cyborg Superman. But the Cyborg Superman could override some of the systems and electronics maybe in this Batman armored up version. Like, who knows? It's fun to speculate and, you know, just create your own storylines. But these two just look fantastic together. Man, some amazing work by McFarlane Toys. And I also want to bring in the Nightmare version of Batman, because I just love this figure. It's really well done. And like I said, if you add some armaments to him, some extra weaponry, it really just brings out all the coolness on this figure. And I think I'm kind of treading the line if I want to find another one of this figure. And I do want to do a black wash on the coats. It needs a bit of a black wash to bring out more of the details and the texturing, but it's still a phenomenal figure. Definitely, if you find it somewhere at the stores, pick it up. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this guy at all. And then, of course, let's bring in Superman. So this is the first release Superman. He's a cool figure. It was one of my favorite Superman figures for a long time until a plethora of comic book versions came out. This one kind of got pushed to the side. Still a very nice figure. I'm really excited to do the comparison between this one and the Doomsday Superman 2-pack and see what improvements they've made, or maybe lack thereof, but let's see what they did. And I love the way these two guys look together. Oh man, that is just awesome. And I love the height difference as well. It's really beefed up Batman, Superman. Absolutely spectacular to see those guys come to life in action figure form. And one other figure I want to bring in from the kind of like the movieverse here. I love this figure. This is my Skydive Dark Knight Batman with the Arkham Knight head sculpt. Replaced it with the unmasked version of not Ben Affleck, excuse me, of Christian Bale. That head sculpt is currently on my Arkham Knight armored suit. And I just love the comparison between these two. You got the sleek military style of this Batman compared to this hulking brute of an armored up Batman. And man, they just look cool together. Really love it. Okay, so there you go, guys. This has been a very interesting figure. One of the most stellar figures, I think, this year. It's definitely going to be in the top 10 somewhere. Stay tuned for that top 10 video 2024, the top McFarlane figures. It's going to be an interesting one. There's a lot of amazing contenders for that top spot. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's been an exciting year of 2024 with a lot of amazing figures, some disappointments, but man, this one really is absolutely stellar and a must-have pickup if you're a Bat fan, you're a fan of the Snyderverse, or just of an amazing action figures to have them battling out against your super villains, superheroes, all that cool stuff. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you will have a great holiday season. Hope you got some new DC Multiverse figures under the Christmas tree, or maybe even gave some out to some friends and family members. And I hope you all stay safe in 2024, and of course into the new year, 2025. Let's make it an amazing one. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.